welcome to day 22.
Yeah.
Not long left now.
No.
So we just woke up. The time is currently 10 a.m. So a bit of slightly
I
earlier.
mean, we've been awake for a while. Just been doing video editing and watching a bit of a Transformers movie.
So I will henceforth refer to Jacob as the editor. Good morning, editor. How do you do today?
Yeah, very good. Are you the content creator?
I suppose. So today we're going to Santa Cruz. So that
Not
should
pronounced like that.
No, it's not pronounced like that. I'm just adding some flair for our viewers. I'm not sure if there's much to do there. I think it's more a beachy area, so it should be nice. The weather's going to be good today too, and it's a Saturday, so hopefully we'll bump into some lovely people. We're off to have breakfast now. I haven't figured out a place where yet. Either we'll get something local and then go to Santa Cruz, or we'll just drive straight there like Jacob was saying last night. It's only half an hour drive away. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on how the day goes. Should be a great day.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Alright, so we've stopped for lunch. We ended up at a place called the Sandwich Shop. I think
Breakfast / lunch, brunch.
Yeah, sorry, brunch. Now, we had looked up the other day what to eat in San Francisco, and only one thing that I saw come up was eating Dutch crunch bread, which doesn't sound like an American thing, sounds like a Dutch thing, but anyway, we decided to go for it. And so we've ordered 2 sandwiches. I ordered one called the Angry Bird, which contains chicken and chili and a bunch of other things. What did you order, Mark?
I got the Home Depot, which is ham and prosciutto, I think. But it comes with a ton of toppings as well. I did not expect it to be this big.
Yeah.
I think salami, sorry, not ham, salami.
They both look pretty good, and they both smell pretty good. So we're going to get stuck in, and we'll let you know how they are in the next video. Bye! Right, slight change of plans. It turns out we are now going to San Francisco instead of Santa Cruz. And the main reason is, I think the Santa Cruz drive is meant to be about half an hour. It's like, 40 kilometers or 30 something kilometers, which in the US terms is usually about half an hour. But when I looked at it on my phone, there was a part where we're meant to be stuck in 42 minutes of traffic. And yeah, no, I don't think that's something that any one of us really wants to experience. So we looked at heading to San Francisco, and it turns out going this direction there is no traffic, and it's meant to take about an hour. So we've been driving for about 10 minutes now. Still got about 51 minutes and 74 k's to go. But it is one of those just straight road driving, in the left lane, no traffic needed. So that's what we're heading to now. Maybe give you a bit of a time lapse of that, and then we'll see you in San Fran. Bye.
Hello people, so we've had a bit of a slight detour. We were just at Pier 39 a moment ago, but it was severely packed. I assume because it was a Saturday, that it was really busy. So instead we're on our way to the Golden Gate Bridge, but we just thought to stop to have a look, because if you look at the horizon, there's clouds that pretty much set over the water, and you would think around about now it's about 1:40, it would have cleared up by now. But it's absolutely overwhelming. I don't think I've ever seen clouds this kind of low before. It's actually really cool. And if I pan back to the right just a little bit, that building over there in the background, I believe is Alcatraz. It's one of the popular penitentiary buildings that they've had. It's actually really cool. It would have been nice to visit there, although we did look up tickets and it was quite expensive. Not to mention availability was a little bit low. But yeah, it's a really cool area. So we're going to go over the Golden Gate Bridge. In the moment, I think the drive is about half an hour from where we are. Traffic has obviously been very helpful around here. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Bye. Alright, so we're currently on the Golden Gate Bridge. As you can see, the clouds are crazily fogging it up. You can you can see the pylons on the side, so it's not like you can't see completely in front of you. So I guess that's pretty cool.
We're going to an outlook area where hopefully we'll be able to get a good view of the bridge.
Yeah.
But with this kind of cloud and fog, I don't think there's a chance we'll see anything from that. You know, we'll see. We'll see what we get. It might be fun to be up higher in the clouds and stuff, but yeah, honestly, it's crazy. It's like those mist makers we've seen in Disneyland where they're trying to cool you down, just on the scale of an entire city.
Yeah.
I will say though, the colour definitely looks more orange when you're up close. Because I've always found it weird when people said international orange when the bridge looked red. But I can sort of see where the orange comes from when you're a bit closer to it.
Honestly, the GPS is a little bit more interesting if I'm being honest.
You can see more.
You can actually see stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. The interesting thing is, on our way here earlier today, you could see the bridge from afar. So because it's encapsulated in so much fog up close, it's actually kind of impressive that you can see it from so far away. I think we're at the middle of the bridge now, by the looks of the way the pylons are. It's a little bit cleared up, I guess. You can see a bit more in front of you, in front of us.
Yeah.
But I know that this was a dream. That's actually really cool.
Lovely seeing it.
One of my friends invited me to come to America with him many years ago to see the bridge. And I know that, well, not to see the bridge, to come to America with him, but one of the dreams he had was to drive on the Golden Gate Bridge. So
we're fulfilling that dream now.
We're fulfilling. Well, he did it himself many years ago, but because he went by himself. But yeah, it's a pretty cool bridge.
Yeah, and it looks like the fog is stronger on the far side than the far side.
Yeah.
We may actually get a photo with the bridge being swallowed up by fog, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would like that if that's what we end up with.
The funny thing is, when I used to work at Milson's Point after uni back in Sydney, sometimes the harbour bridge would look like that in the middle of winter. It's interesting to draw that comparison. Alright, so we've just crossed the bridge. We'll keep you posted on further updates. Alright, so we've made it to the scenic view of the Golden Gate Bridge. If you have a look at this, that is just phenomenal. We were trying to hypothesize what was causing the clouds, whether it's our altitude or I don't know, temperature wise or whatever. But when I could honestly sit here for the rest of the day and I'd be very happy.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Even I wowed when I saw this.
Yeah.
But it does contain a bridge.
I got the biggest wow from Jacob I've ever heard in my life. Like when we went to the Grand Canyon, there was nowhere near the size of that wow. But we got here and he's like, wow, and I'm like, oh wow, we got our first solid wow from Jacob. I'm impressed. So always a bunch of firsts that happen when you're traveling, I guess.
You can see the clouds moving so quickly.
Yeah. It's actually really cool.
We're going to try and get a little bit closer after this.
Yeah.
We'll maybe try and shoot you some more footage from there.
We were even saying it's kind of better looking at it like this than opposed to if it was totally clear. There's something magical about the clouds rolling over the bridge like that. Like it's absolutely insane.
Alright, so we've kept going on the scenic view trail, and it turns out at least you can't us a lot closer to the bridge. So, like the Grand Canyon, it's a rocky terrain walker. Unlike the Grand Canyon, there's no path, there are fences, it's safe, I promise. But as you look down there, you can see a video of Santa Cruz Bay and the sea and that's pretty cool. And if you look straight ahead of me, that's when you'll see the bridge. Honestly, it's pretty impressive. It's so quickly that sometimes you see the bridge, sometimes you can't see the bridge because of the clouds. But if you wait a couple more seconds, the bridge will reappear. It's pretty incredible. Alright, it turns out Grand Canyon was awesome. Bridges, especially bridges that are covered in clouds, pretty impressive for me as well. Now that's a bit windy, so I might be moving out around here. I'll try and get one last good bit of footage, and then I'll head it off to whatever we're doing in the next video. Yeah, the bridge one last time. Alright, so we actually decided to make our way to Santa Cruz in the end. Going around the coastal route towards it. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was very foggy, so you couldn't see a lot of things, as you've probably seen in the time-lapse. But there was still some interesting terrain on that route. And then now that we're here, we just had a little bit of dinner, and we walked inside, and the first thing we saw was a giant boat, or a giant ship. It's actually really cool. So it seems like they're theming everything inside here in like a nautical way, which makes sense because it's like a seaside attraction park. You've got sort of different activities that are inside, and you've got apparently a museum, snacks, this kind of things, lots of arcade machines and the like inside here as well. So I'll show you a little bit more footage from the inside. And then I'll show you more from the park as we continue to go. Apparently it's the best or largest seaside park in the world, so I guess it's good that we came. Alright, so Mark and I decided that we want to ride some of the rides that are here. So we got ourselves a Boardwalk card, which is the way to go. Unlike Disney, where you sort of pay a fee up front and you get to ride on one of the rides, in this place you sort of pay for each ride. It's in points, but 1 point is equal to $1, so it's basically in dollars. We loaded it with $50, which has like 5 extra bonus dollars on it, and we walked around the park, picked a couple of rides we want, 2 roller coasters and then 2 other sort of spinny rides, and so we're going to try and do those, and I think it'll be a bit of fun. Should be good. So we'll probably record some after vlog after we finish all the roller coasters, and you'll get to see the damage that's happened in the last hour or 2.
Fingers crossed, I'll be alright.
Yeah, we'll see. Alright, so we've just finished up at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and it was a lot of fun. So,
You can get a picture of the Big Dipper there.
yeah, you can, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but there's the ride that we just went on. So I was keeping track. So Mark went on one large roller coaster, which was the Big Dipper, and he also went on or we went together on a tsunami ride, and we did that roller coaster as well. Tsunami one sort of spun around and throws one person into the other person, the person sitting on the inside. So Mark and I agreed he'd be on the inside, I'd be on the outside, and he'd get thrown into me.
Because I would not be alive right now if I was on the outside.
I actually think they would have forced us to sit that way, because I saw the woman walking around and swapping people that were bigger than the other person. Like, it was kind of
There was
funny.
a mum that was sitting on the inside, and they're like, no,
No, the mum was sitting in the middle between her 2 kids, and they're like, no, your kid is going to get squished. So we did that, and then I did 2 additional things. So I went on a, I don't know, it was called the Cyclone. What it is you stand around like the edge of a circular, like rotating machine, and you get thrown back effectively into the wall as it spins. But the fun thing with this is it also tilts vertically, and so you're basically thrown up into the ceiling.
Insert video here.
Right, yeah, so Mark recorded me, and we'll put in a bit of that footage now. Now, you probably didn't hear me do anything, because I don't scream on these things. It's mostly smiling or sleeping. Surprised me how much you just felt like you were sleeping and lying down.
This is the funny thing. Oh, touchy. Sorry, inside joke. So, the first half of the ride is what I recorded of Jacob, and it was cool because I videoed him, and he was looking like he was just smiling the whole time.
Yeah, I was making faces
but then
at the camera.
I stopped recording, and the moment I stopped recording, I looked back and Jacob was sleeping on the ride.
Yeah, I was trying to do some entertainment for the camera. I did try to stick my tongue out and do a couple of other things.
I don't know if I captured that, but we'll see.
But honestly, yeah, it was just a kind of relaxing experience, which surprised me.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I did by myself, which I highly, highly recommend, was there was a sort of haunted scares mansion walkthrough. There was 2 things. There was a ride that was haunted mansion, and then there was like a fear walkthrough. And I asked which one was scarier, and I sort of got the walkthrough was probably scarier, so I did that. And that was also really cool. It was like a series of 10 or 15 rooms that you would walk through, and they'd try to scare you in different ways. You know, maybe it was a animatronic that would come out, maybe it was some compressed air that would, you know, push on you. But honestly, the room I was most impressed with was there was a room that the walls were a circle, like a cylinder, and there was a spinning pattern on the walls, like spinning around like a washing machine, and there was a bridge you had to cross, and it honestly felt like the bridge was spinning with the room. Like, are you standing on the bridge? It felt like I was spinning. But as soon as you get off the bridge, it stops feeling that way. And you think, no way is the bridge spinning, right? The bridge has to be connected to this room, and this room is not spinning. And it is just an illusion, but it was a really, really effective illusion, and I was kind of amazed. I was so fascinated by it. I was sticking around for a while. The previous group caught up to me, and I told them, that's all right, you can go ahead. And then the person who was running it stopped spinning the room so that I would move on. But it was really cool, so I'd highly recommend it.
So the funny thing is, when Jacob was telling me about this the first time, I have never seen Jacob more excited. Like, the Grand Canyon, the San Fran, all the amazing things we've had experience combined do not equate to how excited Jacob was when he got off. It was so cool. It was a room and it was spinning and I couldn't understand it, but it was so cool. And I'm like, Jacob, you're losing it and I love it.
Yeah. Well, look, I told the woman when I left, I'm an engineer, and she was like, oh, that's interesting. And I think that's why I was just spending ages trying to figure out, how did they do that? What did they do here? And to me, that was kind of the most fascinating ride. So anyway, it's a nice place. We got some food at the end with some of the raining money. You can spend the money on basically either rides or food. Obviously they're not well priced, but I had some deep fried Oreos, which I took a picture of and might put here.
I had the very common chip on a stick, which is usually what you see during Ramadan in Lakemba.
Yeah, I think they're calling it like tater on a stick or something.
Yeah.
So that was alright. We might stop for something else to eat on the way home, but it was good in the meantime.
Yeah.
And honestly, this whole place I'd highly recommend. Like, if you're going to be on the west coast of the US, like in California at all, I'd highly recommend coming up to Santa Cruz for a day, and just spending the day here. We paid, I think, $50, and we got like $55 worth of credit. Like, it's sort of how it works.
Yeah.
You can pay $75 and get unlimited rides, or with our system you sort of pay for individual rides. Honestly, either system is fine, depends on how long you want to be here for.
The benefit of the card was you could even use it in shops. So we used part of it to pay for our food. I believe there were a couple of retail shops that you could have used it with as well. So it's kind of like an all-in-one kind of a card, which is good because it means like you can use it to the max. And then what was nice at the end was we used the full balance of the card, and the remaining balance we just paid by debit or credit card.
Yeah, they let us sort of split the payment between the card and our credit card, so there's no money wasted kind of thing. So that's fun. I highly recommend you come to the Santa Cruz Boardwalk if you're in the area, or honestly that you make a trip here just to see it.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
I think for me, what I love about places like this is it reminds me of when I was a kid. And I say reminds me, I'm still a kid. But it's just, I love that youthful kind of feeling, and you see families and parents enjoying time with their kids, and kids running around, and everyone's just having a good time. Kids are screaming on various rides, food's very expensive, you know, all these nostalgic things. But I love that kind of youthful feeling, which kind of for me is a big point for me.
Right, so that's all from us. We might do a wrap up when we get home, and that will basically be the next time we see you. So bye.
See ya.
Alright, we're back at our hotel. So we basically already talked about what we did today in the car, but in short, Santa Cruz? I can't even remember. One of those I'd highly recommend. I think both of them. Santa Cruz is where the sort of theme park is. Santa Clara is where the Cheesecake Factory is, so we recommend both. But anyway.
And we did the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes, no, definitely. I mean, you have to see that. But plan for tomorrow is we've got a bit of a drive. We've got a 6-hour drive to Medford, Oregon, which is basically on the way to Portland, Oregon, which is our final goal. And we sort of scouted out on the map. It seemed like a big city on the way. We don't have to stop there. We can stop early, we can stop later. I guess we'll figure that out. But probably we'll leave here in the morning around like 8, 9-ish, and then we'll head towards there and probably have a chill night there, and then head over to Portland, Oregon.
So overall thoughts of San Fran?
I mean, you know what you have to see, right? You have to see the bridge. I would add to that though, seeing the Santa Cruz place. I think that makes it entirely worth it. Apart from that, probably don't need too long here. But it's an alright place.
I think for me, one of the interesting things, like I knew that this place was like the tech center of the US, but because we're in like the Silicon Valley area, but the amount of electric cars that we've seen is really cool. Like literally every second car is a Tesla, which kind of is like a snapshot for what the potential future may look like for other countries. I mean, even in other parts of the US, yeah, you see Teslas and other electric cars and things like that, but nowhere near as prominent as San Fran. I think that was an interesting observation for me. I also feel like San Fran was perhaps a little bit cleaner than a lot of other states that we've been to. Some of them have a bit more run down, sometimes a little bit dirtier, smells a bit funny, that kind of thing. But I'm happy with San Fran. It's a chill place. It's one of those places that you'd go to relax, not so much to travel or do this or do that, apart from the major sites like the Golden Gate Bridge and theme parks and things like that. But yeah, that was my impression of San Fran.
So we're leaving it behind tomorrow, and we'll be heading to Oregon, which I'm looking forward to. So
Not Oreo, Oregon.
we'll show you that, and we'll see you then.
Bonne nuit.